Hey guys, this is Pato Award, and you're listening to Indie Sports Podcast. And or what is that? Is that what it's called? Yeah,
That's
right.
that's perfect.
Or did I say something wrong?
No, trust me, man. I mean, I can edit all this. It's no
What
problem.
is
You
it?
can
What is it again? Indie Sports Podcast or what?
The Indie Sports Car Podcast.
Indie Sports Cars Podcast.
Nice. Yeah, if you want to try it again, go ahead.
Hi guys, I'm Pato Award, and you're listening to the Indie Sports Car Podcast.
This is Oliver Askew, and you're listening to the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
Hi, my name is Frank Links. This is 2020.
It is the year 2020.
I always want to do that. Welcome, ISCP fans, to another decade of this show that somehow you listen to. I am your host, Frank Links, for the last 5 years today. So this is our celebration show. You can hear my enthusiasm. After 5 years, you start to just mumble your words. Now I know what mumble rappers go through. You rap, if you rap too much, you start. You see what I mean?
I wouldn't know.
Nobody knows what they're saying. Missy, what's up? Welcome.
Was that really the intro? Okay.
Yeah, no, we're going with it.
Oh, okay.
Because I am not redoing it. It's been a minute.
Oh, okay.
Missy, the Indy Sports Car Podcast, 5 years. For you, it's like more like 4 years and like 11 and a half months. Because you came in episode 20.
Did I?
Of episode, counting all the extra episodes we've done over the years and the lowdowns for the showdowns where Missy started years ago, by the way, and that every other podcast and every outlet out there does now, so she just stopped doing it. I don't blame her,
Yes, I will take the credit for that. My lowdown for the showdown.
She was the first
It
one.
was first. And now everybody's got articles and shows. Just throwing it out there. I was first.
Look it up. Where, Missy? Where can they look that up to verify that you were the first?
Do we still have a website?
Yeah.
www.theindysportscarpodcast.com.
Yes, we still have a website. I just saw one of the many charges on the account. Yes, with Squarespace. Thank you, Squarespace, for that 1 year of good prices and the next year of, well, what am I paying for? And joining us.
It's been a hot minute.
I know. Talking about
we've done the show.
Well, Missy was in charge of the webpage, and she's been too busy trying to have a kid. So, Jared.
Wow, really? Just throw my business out there.
Well, if
throw our business out there.
People want to know why we've been absent and everything.
Yes, we're. If everyone wants to know,
busy.
we're
yeah. You know what? I have been failing miserably.
Indie Sports Car Podcast is trying to pass the legacy down to someone. We are trying to procreate a little Frank. Oh God, what am I doing?
a little, something not named Frank, because my name sucks. It sounds like you're throwing up. Just say it weird, Frank. Like, oh, well, you okay? You have a temperature?
Anyway, yes, that's why we've been a little busy with that, and it's been a rough.
We've been real busy with that.
Whatever, it's been a rough go. So, well, for me anyway.
I know. Is it in yet?
Anyway, moving on.
I'm trying to, but for some reason I suck at really. I just if I was a submarine, my all hands on deck, still on patrol. Oh, brother.
Anyway.
Yeah, so still trying, Jared.
So joining us for our 5-year show.
A lot longer than that, actually. But, but everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. Our favorite Jay of the Josh and Jared trio of writers from the media center that love to come on. It is Jared. What's up, Jared?
How's it going, guys? Congratulations on 5 years. So keep it going for another at least 5.
Dude, the last 5 years, I was talking to Missy, because she was like, well, what's going to happen next year if we have the kid, which at this pace, we won't need to have this discussion. But hopefully we do. I'm hoping we do. And it's what races do we make it if we have a kid? And the answer is like barely none. And
I don't even think it's due to that. I'm sorry. I'm going to start it this way. IndyCar, I'm pissed off at you guys. Screw you guys. I'm really mad at you right now.
Why?
No East Coast races besides Richmond. I mean, come on. It's still
and who wants to go to Virginia?
It's a 5-hour drive for me. Still.
Does anybody know a Virginian that, and they say, he's a good guy?
This is my rant. Be quiet. This is my rant. So, no, I don't want to drive anymore. I don't want to drive 18 hours, one way to watch a race for one lousy day, and then drive 18 hours back. It sucks.
Well, that's Iowa.
It sucks. I'm tired of driving. And, you took the one racetrack that was, it was still a drive, but 2 hours. Dude, 2 hours I could do in my sleep.
2 hours ain't 2 hours like
but now,
we haven't even left home yet.
No, you just said, oh, look at our East Coast fans over there. How can we screw them the most? Let's do it this way.
It had everything to do with Wickens crash, and you know it.
Whatever. Don't care what it had to do with. I'm just pissed off, all right?
I am too. I'm mad, but I knew damn well going into Pocono that this was the last time I'd be doing it. And I lived it up. And what happened? It stormed like the end of the world. Very fitting, ironic. Just, I stood there in pit lane after doing my interview with, of all people, Graham Rahal. I'm not even joking, dude. I have a 10-minute interview with Graham Rahal from Pocono. I can't believe he actually didn't. I'm really shocked, to be honest. I'm hoping he just forgot who I was, because that whole Tristan thing was Justin, the day that Justin, whatever. Yeah. So anyway, so hopefully, I don't know how you forget a giant head like this, but he does see a lot of giant heads because, he's Graham Rahal.
But that's the end of my rant. I'm tired of driving. I'm just tired.
Miss, we knew it was the end of Pocono. It was so, but you know what? And you know what sucks?
But they don't put anybody else out there. What's wrong with New Hampshire?
No one's died there.
Year.
No one's died there, and no one's died there in 3 years. Okay. But yeah, they had one race. What happened? Tony Kanaan took out a porta pot in the backstretch,
Which I don't see what's wrong with that.
And then Danica Patrick took out half the field at the lap two left to go.
I've actually pitched New Hampshire to IndyCar executives, especially with the road to Indy, because they have New Hampshire has one of the best infield road courses of any oval out there.
It goes out of the track. It's awesome.
Yeah, outside the track. It wouldn't be that hard to turn around the track from oval to road course.
And let me tell you
something. It can't be that hard.
JD, let me tell you something, dude. The best breakfast of my life was in a trolley car about 45 minutes north or south of Loudon. You get a big plate of eggs and hash browns and bacon, and it is the best breakfast of my freaking life. I can't remember any other breakfast I've ever had but that one breakfast. Missy, right?
Yeah, it was good.
I have a picture of the trolley and everything. I really need to frame it. But anyway, so we were at that race. We saw the double birds. I was like, hey, look, Will's flipping us off because we were sitting, all the way up top row, right behind the flagger, which Bernard, I guess, was right above us. We had a great picture of it somewhere. Who knows where? But yeah, we saw it. Yeah, and it's like he's tapping green, one, whatever. And I'm like, I put my hand out. I'm like, It's still raining. What are they doing? It was literally still raining. Like, it wasn't a downpour, but it was more than a drizzle.
It was enough that you could feel it on the ground.
I would say it was a super drizzle. You know how science calls it something, then puts super, then hyper, then ultra, then, you know what I mean? It was, I would say a super drizzle it was. Yes. It was.
Yeah, I've never heard of super drizzle, but that's usually just called light rain.
Fine. Humidity was 100%, but the barometric pressure was... I have no idea what I have no idea what the number is that determines how much rain is, whatever. Point being is, it wasn't dry in the least. It's not like it just rained and it's still 20 minutes after, and you go, what are they doing? It's only been 20 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's. I mean, any oval is that way, where it's prone to the rain. But the one thing that killed Pocono was a lack of support.
That's not true. Support from who, though?
From anything on the track.
Okay.
That's what draws the crowds. You look at these road courses. You go to Road America. You go to Barber. You go to Long Beach. You go to any of these road courses and street circuits.
We do.
And they pack the fans in there because there's all day entertainment.
Yeah, and they're also
you just don't have that with the oval.
Pocono is in the middle of nowhere. Like
you know how big Pocono is. You mean to tell me that all that open space in the infield, they can't do anything with it? They did nothing.
There's a track in the middle of it.
Yeah, and what they do with it? Nothing.
What's Indy going to do with it? It's not. They don't have sand traps.
No, but you're not going to run anything big out there.
Exactly. So why is it in the conversation?
Well, get go-karts. Get some karters out there.
I don't care what other series runs there. I want Indy there.
I know, but if Indy's going to go there, they have to have someone to back them. They've shown over the last few years that Indy by itself can't.
Hold on. JD, hold on. I know for a fact that an Indy Lights car, if you plug a computer into it, you can make them go about, I would say, 5% slower than an Indy car. That's
correct.
Plenty fast enough for Pocono. I mean, NASCAR does, what, 50% less or ish than Indy? How slow are they now? Like 170 top now?
No, they'll top at 200.
Well, that's restrictor plate racing. They top at 200. They don't let them go above 200 ever. You know, because that's scary. You know, because then the bumper car aspect goes away at that speed. You know, and since it's fake and they got to create crashes, they can't have them going fast and doing that. It's got to be nice and slow. Just like pro wrestling's nice and slow. He can end them any time, but he's got to wait for him to get up.
It's still real to me.
Huh?
Still real to me.
I'm sorry, son. It's not.
Actually, I've started watching wrestling again. And let me tell you, Roman Reigns. Oh, yes.
Isn't he sexy?
Oh, he can.
Oh, my God, dude. I picture like curly, like this long and curly. You know what I mean? It looks like it's a lone tree in the forest, in the meadow. Hell yeah! Who is he?
Exactly.
Who's this guy now?
Doesn't matter.
I have no idea who you're talking about. I don't watch wrestling.
Yeah, I know you don't.
And neither does Jared. Apparently, he's off.
I used to.
Hey,
I'm NWO for life.
Turn your TV off.
For life.
Well, I mean, I used to watch it a lot when I was younger, and it was like The Rock and Mick Foley and Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Kane.
My favorite was Tatanka, and that's the last time I watched it because I grew up.
Actually, the first time I watched my favorite, I don't know if anybody remembers him, but my favorite when I was really young was Jake the Snake.
Of course, everybody remembers Jake the Snake.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Jake the Snake Roberts. Right.
Snake out when he beat
Jared,
somebody.
your favorite wrestler before you grew up?
Probably Goldberg.
Hey,
back in the WCW era.
He was the defensive guard for the Atlanta Falcons.
I know.
Offensive guard.
Went from pro football to wrestling and made a big name for himself.
Yeah, he's a smart man. He was tired of getting hurt so much. I know that.
But I also do miss a Macho Man.
Huh?
Oh yeah, no.
Macho Man for life.
After the sex take, Hulk became my favorite because that man, wow, does he he dominates the ring and bed. He even
I didn't mind the language he used though, but
what do you mean?
There was a lot of racial language.
No, there wasn't. I watched the whole thing. He didn't say anything racial. Which one?
Or maybe it was just something he said afterwards.
He said thanks. That was great.
There was a very much a reason why the WWF or WWE for almost 10 years, if you did a search on their website for Hulk Hogan, it returned
this was after
zero results.
This was after that, though. This happened.
I just know it's a Bubba the Love Sponge incident.
Yeah, because it was at his house because they were friends, and Bubba the Love Sponge.
And they recorded him.
It was Bubba the Love Sponge wife.
He said some bad things.
Yeah, but all I was interested in the sex tape. I didn't care about the racist stuff.
Well, yeah.
I had to know how big it was.
All right, moving on.
That's right, brother.
Dude, didn't you? You watched it. Don't lie. You watched it. You had to know. Is the Hulk the Hulk? Come on, Jared.
I don't know. I don't look at that stuff.
Yeah, right. Shut up. You lie. There's two types of people in this world. People who claim they saw it and people who lie about it. Missy's even seen it. Probably not.
No, actually, I have not. I watched seeing Hulk. No.
What do you mean? It was, I would say, a fine performance. He should have had a mic in his hand.
No.
Dude, all I wanted him to do was, as he was done, tear his shirt off like him. But he didn't. He was pleased, like, thanks, that was great. And he even shook her hand and they left. That was it.
All right, racing.
It was in black and white,
a racing
though, 'cause it was
podcast.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. This is in the Indy Sports Car Podcast.
This is not
way off topic radio. That's been...
And there has been a lot of IndyCar news since we were last on the air.
Yeah, but since we were last on the air, I just want to say I started another podcast, Way Off Topic Radio Live, with my buddy Scott, and it's going to be another thing. So, if you go to YouTube, search Way Off Topic Radio Live, just hit subscribe, and some podcasts will be coming live soon that you can watch as we stream them, as we make them. That's all. It's still a podcast, but you can look at it. Maybe, I don't know, interact if it's live, if you're there. So, but subscribe there. I can't believe I'm sounding like a YouTuber. Oh my God, I'm gonna throw up. Anyway, and that's and also LIW, the Twilight Zone review. We're back doing that, and so check that out if you like Twilight Zone. And that's all I'm gonna say. I don't ever plug my stuff ever. So there you go. Now on to all the months of racing that we've missed since Hunter McElroy's been on.
Yeah, so I'm just saying that I have a love-hate relationship right now with IndyCar. I love them, but I hate them at the same time right now.
Well, I mean, I was
for a lot of reasons, not just nothing on the East Coast. I mean, well, I guess not IndyCar in general for the next one, but James Hinchcliffe, you guys did him dirty. I'm gonna say it, did him dirty.
How did he do him dirty? You knew it was coming.
Doesn't matter.
IndyCar didn't do him.
No,
dirty.
IndyCar didn't do him dirty. No.
And by the way, I don't like Sam, but Sam saying that and everybody saying that this was Sam's idea, they don't understand the economics of racing. McLaren hired Pato and Oliver and told Sam, tell your boys that Hinch is out because we're not taking that heat being new up in here. But enough people hate you already. It's fine. So Sam had nothing to do with it. But everybody thinks Sam is the one that, made this decision. No. Sam switched engine manufacturers and everything so he could get that McLaren money. Period. That's the end of story. And everything else?
Yes. They both had what the other one wanted. One wanted an easy entry into the series. The other wanted a truckload of cash. They both got what they wanted.
And if there's one man in this sport that does not care as long as there's money, it's Sam Schmidt. Yep.
Whatever. Right. They still do James dirty.
Hey, as long as he doesn't do anything funny to make Pato or Oliver, pay a price for their team owner doing something stupid.
Careful, season hasn't started.
No, James would never punish other drivers for something like that.
I'm not talking about James. I'm talking about Sam.
Oh, well.
Sam's been able to do certain things to, hurt drivers' careers.
I guess all we need is Hinch on Dancing with the Stars tour.
Dude, R.C. Enerson still is not in this series. I don't understand why. Well, I do understand why, and we know why, and it's Sam Schmidt. He created such a ridiculous story that was fake to begin with because he got Pruitt to release the story first before Malsher got a chance to talk to him, and now everybody thinks badly of RC. At least all the people with money and the backing to give him. I mean, some people know the truth, but most people still think of what they read was true. So, just saying. And RC still isn't in the series. You think RC will be in the series this upcoming year there, JD?
I do not. There are very few, if really any, seats available.
Who's Carlin going to be fielding? Go.
Whoever has money.
Okay, so that means there's 2 seats available. RC has money. RC has had money for the last 3 years. Where's he at? We got this guy from Super Asian Open class or something. He was the Rookie of the Year for some open race series over in Japan or China, and he comes waltzing in, and he's taking over Pagano's spot over in Coin. I never heard of this kid. Did you? And I follow that world of racing. Bruno Carnero's in it. So, I mean, it's literally where freaking Pato ended up somehow last year because he raced in 7 different open wheel, series.
Carnero doesn't race in Super Formula.
No, he did last year, Rookie of the Year. Oh, was it what? Was I right? Was I right?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you're not looking into it. Fine.
No, I wasn't looking into it.
Well, I'm going off of what a very informed friend of mine told me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I'm not going to say who. Just saying.
Yeah, well, Dale Coyne's going to be an interesting team next year. A lot of young talent there.
So it's this kid, and who's the other team? Is it still Santino?
Shit. I hit the wrong button.
Really?
We're still recording. It's fine.
Are you sure?
I'm not hitting pause, Jared. Come on, man.
That was weird.
Yeah, I know we lost you there, buddy. Okay, everybody be quiet for 10 seconds. After I clap, don't say anything. Wait 5 seconds, okay?
Okay.
So what do you think, JD?
Oh, I mean, it's going to be an interesting season. Dale Coyne's got a lot of young talent coming in. I mean, Santina Ferrucci will be back for another year. And then adding Alex Palou will be a good incoming addition to the series. Nice, fresh young talent. Already has got experience.
In what?
Well, Super Formula, but he has tested the car. He has tested the IndyCar at Mid-Ohio for Dale Coyne, and they were impressed with him.
I would say R.C. Anderson's better. A better fit. I mean, Lucas Oil Raceway is supplying MRI with drivers. What more does Neil have to do? I mean, this is ridiculous. He's got the backing. I mean...
Well, maybe this is a big expose that you should...
I mean, Carlin and Yukos is an MRI team that comes up, and they don't give RC even a look. What happened to take care of your own? I mean, there used to be that in IndyCar, but IndyCar's starting to change a little bit. IndyCar's starting to get a little bit mainstreamish. You notice? A little bit. We're starting to think our S doesn't stink as much as it used to, and I don't know if it's false bravado or if IndyCar really is getting to where we all wanted it to be. And once it gets there, we're gonna woe the days of the whole careful what you wish for, because we all knew each other forever, because this was a very tight knit community 10 years ago, because there was only like 100,000 fans, you know, because after the split everybody left, and where'd they go? They went to NASCAR, or they went nowhere. And now all the NASCAR fans are coming back, but with that NASCAR mentality of, you know, not knowing anything and thinking everything's just a fight, because that's kind of like what wrestling is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I just know IndyCar is a very diverse series, both in drivers and just all around. It's the whole point of the series is diversity. So, I mean, as talented as RC is, and he may not have gotten a fair shake, I do like seeing young foreign talent coming in, especially when they're bringing the kind of money that...
Where's he from?
Spain.
Nah.
Spain, Mexico.
Yeah, their GDP sucks. I mean, what are he's not bringing a fan base with him. We needed somebody from China. I'm telling you, 30,000 to a GP2 race. Are you kidding me? In the rain? These people love open wheel. But on the other side, I have a big problem with China right now, so I don't think we should go there, because, you know, I just don't think you should have concentration camps in your country.
All right.
Just saying.
We're not going there. Moving on.
Hey,
moving on.
Sorry for saying such a horrible thing.
Yes, please move on.
I know. I'm sorry. Google it. Anyway, and ask yourself, how are we standing for this? Anyway, moving on. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What has he done to earn a full-time ride? He was Rookie of the Year. Did he win the championship? No. He was Rookie of the Year. I mean,
no.
Name the last 5 Rookie of the Years of IndyCar. Felix Rosenqvist deserved it, I'll admit. What were the other ones? Do you remember? No.
Wait. I got this. Last year was...
Okay, here we go. Jared, fact check this.
Colton Herta this past year.
Yeah.
What? Timeout? Thank you for my point. I rest my case. What has he done? deserve to have a full seat.
The year before that was Ed Jones?
No.
Maybe it was 2 years ago.
He was the only rookie. That was why.
Doesn't matter. You asked for who were the last 5
He won it by proxy. He showed up.
You asked who were the last 5 Rookie of the Years.
Which you're proving why I say just because he won Rookie of the Year in another open wheel series does not give him
And Robert
clouds.
Wickens.
Yeah,
did I just name 4 out of the last 5 years?
Yeah, but you stopped me dead with that one.
Your eye. That's right.
With an apple pie. Yep. All right.
And my name is Mr. Lynx.
And she's here to. I can't rap. I'd be a terrible rapper.
So yeah. So now. Anyway.
Okay, so I don't have a point then. All that was for nothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Go back.
Mission
Your rookies from
accomplished.
Colton Herta, Robert Wickens,
Colton
Ed
Herta-
Jones, Alexander Rossi,
Boy, do I doubt.
Gabby Chavez.
You know what? If they're Rookie of the Year in an open wheel series, I say they have enough clout to get an IndyCar. I think definitely good pickup by Coyne.
Moving on. What else? What else happened? Oh, I guess the merger was completed today, right?
Yeah, I think Monday was completed.
Monday. Roger.
And immediately afterwards, all the troughs are being pulled out.
The what?
It was big controversy. Another journalist mentioned that apparently Roger Penske wants to remove all the troughs from the men's rooms at Indy.
I am all for it. I'm tired of peeing in a pig feeder.
Yeah, well, it does.
I want barriers.
I can't say that I have experienced long lines to use the restrooms at Indy in the last 5 years, but
good point. Good point. I mean, dude,
but
are our bathrooms spotless?
I can only imagine that having them help speed up the process there.
If I was a fan, I would wait to get back to the hotel room. But when I'm there, I'm like, I'm going to blow this thing up. And then I'm going to go get myself a nice cold Mountain Dew. My 40th one of the day. God, I love Indy. I really do.
Yeah,
oh my
only
God.
4 months away from the best month of the year.
It really is the only media center where they give you a great window to watch the race from. It's weird watching the race from there.
Texas has the press box.
Okay, fair enough, but I'm never going to Texas.
Pocono had a press box too, but I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, but the media center was not in the press box.
No, even at Texas, a media center isn't in the press box, but...
Well, yeah, that's... Why would you mention Pocono, then? I mean, every...
Pocono had the same thing as Texas. There was a press box that's separate from the media center.
I'm talking about just the media center. I'm talking about Indy's media center.
Yes, Indy's media center is the best media center in the world.
Well, of course it is, but I'm saying, as far as to watch the race from, it's such a weird angle. Like, I never thought...
It is. Watching cars come up out of turn 4 is difficult through the glass.
No, I liked it because you could still see the whole front stretch because the glass kind of angles outwards, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of inwards, so you go to look out and you hit your head.
Yeah.
How much do you think he paid for all 3?
I don't care. I'm happy he did
money,
it.
Wasn't it?
Do you know what this does? This move right here says there will never be a split in IndyCar ever again. Well, maybe for the next 10 years looking at them. My point being is Penske owning everything means no split. Because what was the split about back in 96 or 7? Tony George and Penske and Co. And what happened? George went over here with, don't ask me, Pagano and friends, and Penske went over here with everybody you know. That's it. Period. You know, George paid for the last, I think it was 13 seats of the 98 season Indy 500. He paid for the last 13 seats for drivers to race them to make 33 for that race.
Mm-hmm.
And then he passed the whole, what was it? Like every full timer in his league got in automatically. So that meant Penske and friends would have to battle for 8 different spots. And there was how many?
5. It was 25-8 rule.
Yeah, exactly. The 25-8 rule. Yeah, and it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. But that's what the split did. And you know what it did? It killed IndyCar and it made all the fans go and walked away. I know I was one of them. I wasn't having it.
It definitely didn't help the sport.
No, you know what it helped? It helped NASCAR rocket to the top. Because you either went to NASCAR or you bailed or somehow you stuck with what you got and you were happy with. I don't know. Because right after the split was over, though, is when I got big into it. And then we started doing this like around 2011, meeting everybody. We started the show in 2015. So we started meeting people, and we met a lot of angry people that they reunited, which I felt was weird. And that's because they lost their job. Granted, the 2 different, series did create double the jobs, but then when they remerged, the cream rose to the top.
The best of
and no wonder you're bitter, but you must have sucked at your job, because if you were good, somebody'd have you.
Well, yeah, Rocket's the best example of that. He was the Indy Racing Leagues while he worked for Panther Racing, helped them win some Indy 500s.
Is there any teams that are left from that league that are still here?
Well, I mean, you could
they're all gone.
Technically say that they're remnants of it.
No, I'm talking still 100%.
Straight up here, Indy Racing League teams, there are none.
Yeah, they're all gone. There's a reason. It was terrible. It's horrible. It was a big black mark on the series, and I'm just glad it's over.
What was Roger Penske's stance on bump day?
With this year?
He was of the opinion that the full-time season entries, so those that are in the leader circle, should be guaranteed entries to the 500. To which the vast majority of people, rightly so, said that's a load of crap. The fastest 33 cars should make the race, period, no matter how many races they compete in throughout the year.
I mean, honestly, when I heard Penske was taking everything over, I felt safe in that he was going to keep everything status quo and nice.
I really think it will stay the status quo. I don't think Roger is interested in shifting the sport.
Yeah, I mean,
he knows that he wants to keep it pure. It's stood for over 100 years, and with this, if he does it right and doesn't get too involved,
right,
and just keeps the sport the way it is, it'll last for another 100.
And he still engineers on the wall every weekend. He has an NASCAR team. Where is he? IndyCar. I mean, the man is IndyCar through and through. Indy runs through his blood. Everything else is just a moneymaker to him.
Do you think
Indy came first, and it will be the last?
Do you think James Hinchcliffe's downfall started when he didn't make the 500?
No.
And then last year when he barely made it in?
No. He got the pole, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, a couple years ago. Well, the car he was in.
James got hurt. He hasn't won.
James was almost killed for crying out loud.
I mean, he's the great personality. He's an awesome guy.
And if Daly can get into this, if Daly can get into the into the sport, based solely on his fanfare, because he's good for the sport, then Hinch surely should be in because he's talented at least.
Yeah. He's got talent. I don't know why it feels like he's regressed the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's in a.
I don't know if it was the fact that he's with Sam Schmidt's team.
I do.
Or if it's him, or if Robbie, the presence of Robbie and everything that happened there has affected him. I don't know, but
he hasn't been good. I mean, Robbie came in after he was starting to slump, not before.
Yeah. Well, Robbie came in, and I think when Robbie came in and won the pole at St. Pete in his very first race, that was the downfall of James Hinchcliffe.
Yeah, I remember being there, seeing that, and I was blown away, dude. Blown away. I was like, "What did I just see? What did I just?"
Because it showed that Hinch's time has passed, maybe.
No, you know what? Like, I was so blown away by that poll because I didn't really give Robbie Gordon a whole lot of credit coming from DTM because I watched.
Yeah, DTM. Coming from Stadium Super Trucks. Yeah, back to IndyCar.
No, he came from DTM in Germany.
You mean Robert Wickens?
Yeah. Oh, well, who are you talking about?
Well, you just said Robbie Gordon.
My bad, Robert Wickens. I meant. I'm not, dude. I haven't done this. We haven't done a real show like this. Like, I interviewed Hunter. We interviewed Hunter the last show, but before that, who knows? I haven't done a show like this, talking just racing, and I'm rusty, JD. So listen, stop.
I just like giving you crap.
I know.
But yeah, when Robert came from sports cars, nobody really knew what he was going to do. All they had really known was the one little test he did when he filled in that one weekend for Hinch.
Yeah, I mean, he was nice enough. I mean, I had no problem with him. I just didn't respect him enough because I do watch DTM and the Germany racing, the touring league. Their tracks are not. I mean, their tracks are legendary. Don't get me wrong, that they race on, but I mean, it's a qualifying and then you finish where you qualify type of race, like most European race. So I didn't really know what to gauge him off of, to be honest. But I didn't have a high hopes for him. But he really surprised me. But and then
can't wait for him to come back.
And then I love how Rossi pretty much showed him,
welcome to America.
You dude, you can't leave the door open that high on a restart. Sorry, you're gonna get mollywopped the way you did. Sorry. And so started the entire series, basically driving against him with a certain lack of respect, I thought. They really bullied him around the track. And then he finally started fighting back, and then Pocono happened. So that sucked. Yeah. Anyway, my point being is, Missy, what did you think about Robert Wickens before the season started? Like, what was your outlook on him?
My outlook on any driver that comes from a different series, and that's not even. I mean, Formula One. All right, I think maybe they can hang a little bit, but different series like into DTM, I'm like, I don't know. Because IndyCars are a beast all their own. So.
Sorry.
But it was interesting. I mean, he showed a lot of promise. A lot of promise.
Yeah, definitely. I thought so too.
So I was pleasantly surprised. So.
That is the one thing about IndyCar. I've been pleasantly surprised a whole lot over the past decade. Jared?
Oh yeah, it's I wasn't sure what to expect with him when he came in, but I was absolutely blown away.
No, I'm talking about the series over the last decade because because like I said, I came back in 2009, and we've been here ever since and everything. So, and we've gotten where we got to, but thinking about back then to now, I would have think we would be where we at now, maybe 5 years at best down the road. So I think they've overachieved like tremendously.
I just can't imagine or believe what all they've done with the DW12 in the last 7-8 years. Like all the changes in the evolution of that car while still maintaining its base.
Yeah,
The whole
and
base part of it.
And its safety. Because
safety and cost. It's like the amount of money that these teams have saved over the last 7-8 years compared to the old car is immense.
Yep.
Even through the Aero Kit era.
Yeah, and they've never looked better as far as last year. I thought last year was the best looking Indy car I've ever seen. Ever. Like ever. Forever.
Oh.
I mean,
they do look good, and
I mean, people are going to argue with me like all on that, and that's fine. You can argue with me. You know, you can say 1992 Lowe's or whatever you want to say. But, you know, personally, I thought they looked just sexy, badass, fast, you know, just awesome. You know, better than they've ever looked. And
I actually think I'm one of the minority of things that the aero screen kind of looks good.
I'm not talking
makes it look
the
a little more
screen,
sleek.
and I don't think the aero screen's going to happen anyway. I got news for you. Have you heard of any crash tests with them?
Not like on track crashes, but they have done.
Oh yeah, but come March, they're going to have them all ready to be fitted onto a chassis that wasn't made for them. Yeah, right. No way. It will not happen. Mark my words. They might have a halo or something.
Yeah, the halo's all the strength of the windscreen.
My point being is they've had problems with the windscreen. You know, it warps depth perception. You know, especially on an oval. My point being is they'll get it right, but they haven't even had a crash test with it. I mean, you need to have several crash tests with it to find out its durability first before you put people behind it.
We'll find out because they have the open test in just over a month at Circuit of the Americas, and every car is going to be equipped with them for that.
Is that official?
Yes, it is. The series is planning on having enough aero screens supplied to all of the cars participating in the open test, and that's like all of them.
Who wrote that?
This one was written by Marshall Pruitt a couple days ago.
I don't. Yeah. Okay. So then it's not true. Okay. Did Motorsport write it? Anything about?
No, they.
Is there anything on Motorsport about an aero screen being on the next test? Because on this show, if I haven't read it on Motorsport or Autosport, it hasn't happened and it's not true yet. And
there hasn't been a whole lot of news out of Motorsport.
And
lately.
Don't you think Malsher, or at least that other really great journalist they have that normally does IndyCar other than Malsher, what the heck is his name? Anyway, don't you think one of the two of them would have had a story about that? Kind of big, kind of what, like the one thing the entire family...
The article that Marshall wrote is doesn't really reveal anything. It's just
shocked because why? Because the guy who dictated it to him didn't say much.
It's just content to fill the day on a slow news day.
Right, which is not a journalist. You are now a
Dragon
newspaper.
Speed.
I don't know what you are. You're a shill, is what you are.
But yeah, Dragon Speed will be back this year. That will be a good thing because those are some good guys there.
Isn't Dragon Speed from IRL? Isn't Dragon from IRL? So wouldn't that be like a returning IRL team? I think. I don't know.
Oh, but they're doing, 6 races?
Yeah, 6 races.
I don't think they announced their driver yet.
I mean, it's should still be Ben Hanley because Ben Hanley drives all of their cars. He drives in WEC and he drives IndyCar. They have one driver for their entire program.
Where's Hitch going to end up, Jared?
I honestly don't.
No, I don't. I'm not.
I don't see him doing anything more than the 500. He might be able to get, because Schmidt Peterson or Aero SPM has said that they would be interested in a possible third car for the 500. That's about the only way I see.
Yeah, and
James in a car this year.
Okay, well, I mean, I heard that with the Alonso story, and Alonso said it won't be him, which is strange.
Well, that's because Alonso's supposedly going to Andretti.
Which is weird. But whatever. You know, I mean, that's probably, well...
I think it's weird. His first Indy 500 he did with them.
What is it?
I said, I don't think it's weird. His first Indy 500 he did with them, so...
No, I mean, like, I'm saying that's why he probably is doing it with them. It's because he almost won the thing with Andretti. And then he goes over to Carlin and he doesn't even make it, so he's probably making the best choice for himself. He's thinking of himself and not, the guys that got him there and fought to get him there, because there's no loyalty in racing. That's what I learned over 5 years. It's the most cutthroat sport that's ever existed.
It is. About the only way to get loyalty is if your name is Scott Dixon.
And Willpower, Scott Dixon. Well, not dude, because I would have said this about Elio Castroneves too. But look what happened.
Yeah, but he's still around. It's not like Elio isn't driving anything and isn't doing anything in IndyCar.
No, that's.
It may not be his dream, but as long as he still has the opportunity to win his fourth Indy 500, that's all Elio really cares about. He actually likes the sports cars. He likes the not as busy. He can spend more time with his family. It's the same reason why Gordito Pablo enjoys it. Because he can go to the buffet and then get in the car.
Cars that will fit him. Finally, it's like that thing is as big as a house. Finally, I can fit in that. Look, the Cadillacs are gigantic and ugly. At least gigantic. Some people like them. I personally don't. I like the Toyotas the most, personally. Aesthetically, anyway. But my point being is, when Scott Dixon is done racing, that's it. He'll retire from IndyCar and leave. Willpower, same thing. They're not going to IMSA. And I've been
Scott might. Scott has raced in the Rolex, races in that every year. He likes going over and doing Le Mans when he can. I doubt he will this year. I'm surprised he's even running the Rolex this year with him and Emma just having the baby. But
what team is he with?
Oh, never mind. Chip Ganassi isn't in there anymore.
I was going to say Ganassi's not doing.
Yep, never mind. I haven't been paying much attention lately.
But, yeah, I'm relying on Missy, and she's brought nothing.
Sorry, I've been a little busy.
I know.
Couple months.
I get it. I know. All right. So, like I said, the last time we talked about IndyCar, Hinch had just got the boot. So hold on. Let me get my applause out because these guys need it. Because I just want to say, I had now Jay, I've had an eye for talent for a long time. Parker Thompson comes to mind. Oliver Askew comes to mind. Pato O'Ward comes to mind. We've had them on since their career started. This listener base, if you've been here for like the last 5 years or 4 years, you know them very well, right? And of course, I knew what was going on with the whole Oliver and Pato thing. I couldn't say anything at the time, obviously, but my point, because when we were interviewing, Hunter, Missy wanted to talk about the Hinch thing afterwards, like the news. I'm like, nope. I think we got to wait because I think the other things we're going to have that we have to talk about, and then this will be really old news really quick. So let's not do that. I knew it was a reason. You know what I mean? So, I have an app here on my old work phone, my iPhone SE, and I have an app that I can't believe still works. And it's got to reload because I haven't touched it in a while. So, Jared, tell them where they can find your content at.
You can find me on Twitter at JDePow, and my website is realopenwheel.com. You can also hear me here on the Indy Sports Car Podcast, hopefully every week with you guys.
Dude, looking forward to it, man. Getting back into the groove of it, weekly, every Thursday. Talked to Christian today. He'll come on when he can. He's been very, very, very busy. And he just wants to tell everybody that he loves you guys, and if you want to shout him out, some well wishes to everything that he's got going on. He's got a couple things in the works, and he just needs to dedicate every minute of it. I totally understand it. So, but you know what? It just opens up the door to have a great, journalist like yourself, Jared, to come on, and we're really pleased to have you on, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, I mean, we don't talk too much about the inner workings of the show during the show, but there you go, guys. That's what's been going on, and that's what's been going on with Missy and I. But she's going to fight through the nausea. I'm going to fight through dealing with her. And Jared's going to be on every week. So. And she's not even pregnant. Yeah, the medicine makes her feel pregnant, and she's not pregnant. I've been dealing with a non-pregnant Missy for the last couple months. It's awesome. I open the door. I'm like, I wonder who's in the house today.
Oh, shut up.
I'm kidding. All right, here we go. This goes out to ISCP Legends, Pato Award, and Oliver Askew. Of course, a commercial before it'll let me hit an applause button. That was the update, guys. Commercials. What a very well-produced show. You sure you want to keep doing this, Jared? It doesn't get better.
I might have to rethink this.
No, I don't worry. I actually, no lie, I have a new mixer coming. That's a 4-channel, so I can have my soundboard up because I do have a soundboard. I have a 2-channel mixer at the moment. So, if her was, I'd be able to use it. But she's growing a garden. Have you picked your turnips yet, Missy? Everybody's into the Missy. So come up with some news. There's been so much news since then.
I have, but you keep cutting me off.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm used to doing that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh, I was a little surprised that Ed Carpenter signed Rhinus VK. I mean, he's not American.
I wasn't surprised. Rhinus VK's talent. I think.
But I was all like, yeah, an American team with American drivers, yeah. But then I guess he did crunch that last year with Ed Jones too. So I guess that.
I was gonna say Ed Jones is an American.
I guess that doesn't hold anything.
I mean, he's from.
I mean, I am happy for Rhinus though. It's a good ride for him. So
we also had Rhinus VK on the show about a month and a half before that was announced too.
Yes, we did.
Yep, I had to be careful what I said to him. I didn't want to give that away. Excuse me.
How about I guess here's another one. Meyer Shank going full time for 2020 with Andretti.
I'm really happy to hear that.
Jack Harvey. So
I didn't expect Jack Harvey to go full time with the oval thing since he hates ovals. Maybe they grew on him. I don't know. But I always was under the impression that Ben Hanley hated ovals. So, but what do I know? I've never really talked to the man. It's just all hearsay. Jared, have you ever heard that?
I have not.
Okay, so it's just me. But, all right. But yeah, I mean, and by the way, I've been posting videos on Twitter. The last one was the day that Connor Daly announced his big ride for the year. I can't believe it. To be honest, but I'm really happy for him though. Well, I do like Connor a lot. So he's basically taken the road and street course role on the, and Missy, I'm sure, is happy to see that Ed Carpenter will be back in the car every oval.
I'm just thrilled.
The king of ovals.
No, he's not.
Not a Carpenter fan as far as in the car, Jared. I mean, I personally don't care, but she hates it. Anyway.
No.
No, what? Do you see how I turn as I talk into the mic?
Yeah, I see.
I can hear you now. Mic etiquette, woman, come on. Hasn't been that long.
No. I have an issue with his oval specialist title.
What's he won? Half of a Texas doubleheader at night when they did that weird bang with the 6 years.
Good for him. You can't label yourself an oval specialist until you win Indy.
Hands down. That's why Will Power, oval
and don't give me that crap about, he has so many poles at Indy. I don't care.
So does Hinch.
Poles mean nothing. You need to win Indy.
Yeah, Roberto Guerrero has a pole at Indy. Well, legend there. It's a legendary driver there. The only driver I think that's ever crashed on pole before the green flag ever flew. Oh my God, what a fail moment. I'll never forget it. That one moment of him going spinning in between the short chute of 3 and 4 into the inside wall before the green flag fell is burned into my memory. Oh my God, so good. All right. And Jared, any other?
I gotta say, I was surprised that Ganassi signing Ericsson. I like Ericsson, but I was a little surprised at that. Little surprised, I can't say.
I think Ericsson's a really good driver. He was just...
I like Marcus Ericsson. I have nothing against him. I really like him. I just was a little surprised that, that was the driver that got Ganassi to do a third car.
Well, I mean, you figure Ericsson...
Wait, is he a third car?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ganassi went to 3 cars.
I know it's been a while. Okay.
Yeah, you would never get rid of Felix Rosenqvist for him. I mean, come on, he's not that good. Felix Rosenqvist is one of the best drivers out there. Just watch what
he is.
I'm telling
you. He's quietly one of the best drivers out there.
And I just want to say again, with this eye of mine, I've been talking about Rosenqvist for 4 years of how good this kid is. He's finally here. I cannot wait for Pato in a McLaren and Rosenqvist in a Ganassi to go at it. Finally, I get to see the matchup I've been wanting to see. With Will Power and Scott Dixon in the mix. It's going to be the old heads that are awesome versus the new heads that are really awesome. Just mixing it up, dude. I cannot wait till this year. It's going to be like, this year is going to be the most talented grid that has ever been. I'm telling you, you go right down the freaking line, man. Except for, that one entry that won a race last year. But, other than him, I'm telling you, just natural talent all the way down the line.
Yeah.
Just saying. It's terrible. I will have my 4-channel mixer by the next show. Don't ever do that again. Chippa does not have a... Oh, no, Chippa does. Never mind. Dude, I need to find an app that is a Chippa soundboard.
Absolutely not.
If there was one thing that Opie did contribute, he was really good with the laugh track. He just interjected when somebody was talking. Okay, terrific.
That was Anthony.
Oh, well. Oh, was it Anthony that had the soundboard?
I mean, Opie has soundboard, but Anthony's the one that made it funny.
Oh, well, that's because Opie isn't funny.
I know. Do you remember his show by himself at middays? Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was him and the Carl Ruiz show.
Do you know every comedian that he had from the old show, like Voss and all, he double paid them to come in?
Mm-hmm.
Unreal. Anyway, moving on. So now this writer for IndyCar.com, Olson is his name?
Jeff Olson?
I believe so. He did a top 10 of 2019 throughout the last maybe 2 months or a month or so. No, month. Since December 16th. So he did a top 10. Let's go through these and see if you guys agree.
I wonder if it's, had the same ones I got.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jeff Olson's articles. I think he does a good job. I leave reading them not asking myself questions, which is the sign of a good journalist. Top 2019 stories. Number 10, Rossi re-signs with Andretti Honda. You think that's worthy of top 10? Okay, elaborate on that, Giggle.
Well, I mean, he was a pretty highly sought after free agent. Like, everybody expected his contract to run out, and then the boatloads of cash would just show up at Rossi's doorstep. So we were all kind of caught off guard when they announced that he was coming back. And it was halfway through the season. It was at Mid-Ohio that they announced it. Nope, it caught everybody off guard.
There was a couple things this year that literally nobody knew was going to drop when it dropped, and that's something new. I've been noticing, especially the Pagano move. No one saw that coming. No one knew about that. Did you hear any rumbling about that? As far as I was concerned, it was Ferrucci going to stay? You never even thought of Pagano leaving. So, anyway, but does it earn a top 10 for this year? Would you put it top 10?
No, I mean it was that weekend. It was.
I mean, good for Ross.
The biggest non.
The reason I say no is it was
race related story.
Well, I okay. The reason that's exactly what I mean. It's not race related. It's good for Rossi, I guess, if that's where he wanted to stay. Does it matter to me who he races for? Not really, because I knew he wasn't going to not race for anybody, and that's why it's a non-story. It's just, hey, Rossi got paid. There's 10 more better things I can think of that happened last year. But whatever, it's not my list. Not my list. It's just I'm bringing them up just for a talking point. Missy, well, would you put it top 10?
That happened in off season or just?
Oh, never mind. Moving on. Number 9. Missy's too busy farming. Okay, so I'll just go through them real quick, and then we can end it there. Okay, so number 9 was the McLaren Sam Schmidt merger. I don't know if that involves everything that came with it with the Pato thing and Skew, but I'm going to guess that it does. Yeah, it does, because the front page is of Ali Skew. I can't believe that's so crazy. And to think we had him on with before he ever raced a single race in MRTI. Amazing. Anyway, I feel old now. Very, very old. Huh?
I said you're welcome.
Yeah, it was all messy, but, so was everything else. Okay, so that was number 9. Sorry, they don't have these in order. It's IndyCar.com. Why would they make things simple? Okay, so, number...
I have them in order.
Okay, can you please... You want to read them out in order?
Yeah, number 8, Colton Herta leading the really impressive rookie class this year.
I think Rosenquist did lead the rookie class impressively this year. Herta got lucky one race because the leaders, had car trouble last lap, and you know what? I can't take Portland away from him. So good on you, I guess.
Actually, he won Laguna Seca.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
My bad. No, in Portland he led a little bit, and then he got shuffled back because he couldn't save his tires, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. Hey, well,
he did win Laguna Seca.
Yeah. That was the race. I'm not going to take away from him, even though there's like one passing zone on that track, and it's not easy. Okay. Just keep rolling.
Yep, number 7, Joseph Newgarden won the championship, won 4 races this year. That was the most of any single driver.
What for races was it?
He won the opening race at St. Pete. And off the top of my head, I can't remember the other ones. Oh, he won Alabama down in Barber. Believe he won Iowa as well.
Missy's pulling it up right now for the official. So you don't have to rack your brain there. I mean,
maybe Toronto?
No.
Let's see, we got St. Pete.
Yeah, so St. Pete's 1. Barber is 2.
No,
he didn't win Barber.
No, he did not.
Yeah. No. He didn't win Barber.
No, he did not. Takuma won Barber. That's right. I remember that. He won Detroit race 1.
Okay, so that's 2.
He won Texas.
3. And Iowa.
Iowa, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's your 4 races. Okay.
How was that all 4 of those? How did I not remember?
Probably because you were at all 4 of them. Because I've learned that if you go to all these races, you forget everything at all of them, and you can't remember what happened at each one.
That's very true. They all just kind of run together.
The last 5 years, except for 2008, and not the entire season, just parts of it, is a blur.
Well, number 6 here was the drama of Indy 500 qualifying, when Kyle Kaiser and Juncos, after trashing their car, came back in their backup and bumped McLaren and Fernando Alonso on the very last run in front of everybody.
Yep, and
that was some pretty high drama there.
I thought it was great. I thought Bump Day was exactly what it should have been.
Oh, exactly.
Intense, exciting. They killed it.
I hope that it's as good this year as it was in the last couple of years.
Yep, we'll definitely be talking about that come May.
And speaking of May, number 5 is Simon Pagenaud and his historical run in the month of May. Just the utter dominance from the Indy Grand Prix, his run in the rain, coming out, winning pole for the 500, and then capping it off with a little glass of milk.
Yep.
Number 4 here is the new technologies coming in the future, from the Aeroscreen next year to the hybrid systems in 2022.
I can't wait for the hybrid systems. It's going to make the road and street courses so much more competitive.
It will. Number 3 here is the new title sponsor, NTT, who replaced Verizon.
Still don't know what they do.
If you need a fax line in Japan, they're the company.
Yeah, so I can't support them with my money. Moving on.
Mm-hmm. And number 2, NBC taking over as the sole TV partner for IndyCar.
Yeah, that was
including the Indy 500. They did a really good job this year, other than a couple technical issues.
What were the technical? I mean, I didn't watch it.
There were a couple incidences where the satellite truck that's on site at the track overheated and went down in the middle of the race.
It wasn't hot out last year, was it?
It wasn't, but it was. I guess it was a cooling issue inside the truck itself.
Fair enough.
That caused everybody watching at home to lose the race. A couple of races for
it was
a little while.
One. Give them a break.
I know. And the number 1 story, everybody's been talking about it. Roger Penske buying the series and the Speedway. First time in 70 some years that stewardship of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway has changed.
I'm happy about it. I was very happy to hear the news. It just meant more stability for the series. And now the owner, he has a very, very, invested stake in the series to succeed, instead of just some corporate rich guy that, one of his jobs is to make sure some company name in IndyCar doesn't go under. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's actually funny because the whole deal came together on race day for Laguna Seca, and I remember having lunch with Honda, and Tony George was on the phone. Like, they were passing the phone around. He was talking to all sorts of different people there. He was talking to Dario. He talked to Robin Miller. It was the first time it took me a second to even realize who it was. They just kept referring to him as George. And I'm like, I don't know anybody named George. And then it clicked in my head. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Tony George.
it's probably because it's the first time you really ever seen him show his face around.
No, he didn't show his face. It was over the phone.
Oh, that's why.
But it was that day that he had called Roger Penske and offered to sell the speedway and everything to him. Was that race day in Laguna Seca. Also my birthday. Right but on. I don't remember a whole lot of that day.
Drunk as hell, huh?
No, wasn't drunk.
Right on. Nice. I like it. All right, so
it was my birthday.
So yeah, I mean, Missy, how do you feel about Penske taking over?
I'm fine with it. I think it's good for the sport.
Fair
Having
enough.
someone that cares and is invested in the sport.
Yeah, and then that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing, I think.
I mean, whether you like them or you hate them, it's just,
Which, there's a lot of hate for Penske, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Normally, people hate the best. That's because they're jealous of them. They want to be the best, so they hate the best. That's just human nature. That's competition. That's what's Indy. That's what Indy's all about, is competition. So you're going to get that out of people. It's just natural. People start things with us on other podcasts all the time. We have no beef with any podcast whatsoever. We're friends with them all, for crying out loud. People, please stop doing this. Me and Mike are friends. I don't. Please stop. Anyway, moving on. So, alrighty. Being to this for 5 years, I did want to kind of. I guess look back on it a little bit with you. I mean, you've been coming on, what now, 2 years by now there, Jared, at least?
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, like, out of any other, friend that we've met through the media center, I think you've been on the most out of everybody else. I mean, except for, well, we didn't meet Christian there. But as far as, like a guest host, so really happy to have you, man. Really. And, and I remember the start of last year's Indy 500. It was me, Christian, Missy, and you, and we were all standing at the glass in the media center watching the start of the race. And I thought that was a really cool moment, to be honest with you. I kind of looked around and I was like, "This is a really awesome moment," So that was cool to share with you.
Yeah, well, the best part was it was air conditioned.
Dude, is that air conditioning just like it is like a slap of heaven in your face after walking around that place sometimes. Whew. Anyway, but I don't Missy, out of the last 5 years, what's your number one moment that you never thought would happen to you, but it happened to you? I think I asked you this the other day and asked you to think about it. Did you come up with anything? Just the first thing that comes to your head. It doesn't have to be amazing. It's just things that, because that's what this show has done for us and for a lot of other people too. It's gotten them to know other drivers they would have never known before that are coming up, and now they're here. And instead of hearing this new name coming to a team about, and you're happy, you're more invested. It makes you see what I mean? That's why MRTI is just so important.
Yeah, that is. I don't.
Okay, how about this? I'll make it easier. What was the best race you've ever been at where there's a media card around your neck and you couldn't believe you were there. Because I have one moment in mind.
Oh, that's too easy.
Go ahead.
Will Power winning the Indianapolis 500.
Okay, that's the easy one. But can I suggest a different one that I think you might agree with me was even more crazy? You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Alonso's official announcement at Mid-Ohio. And there's like 20 seats up in there.
No.
200 people.
Yeah.
And, it was like Jared, me, you, DeHardy, Mulcher, the regulars, but then we had all these other people around us that we'd never seen before. And I thought that was one of the coolest moments of...
Well, yeah, it was cool having a seat in the...
It was just one of those moments where it's like...
When Alonso was, announcing he was going to race the...
In a lot of his press conferences, I remember after Alonso in 2017 ran in the 500, he went down and snuck a carton of milk and brought it up to the media center and drank it in front of all of us. And getting to sit there and watch, that was cool. Seeing Danica's final press conference that lasted all of about 45 seconds. That was a pretty good moment. But there's also the bad that comes with it, being in the press conference when they announced that Brian Clausen had died. And
Justin Wilson.
There's you take the good with the bad, but it's all great.
I'll never forget being at Gateway, dude, and being in the media center, and like we were one of the first ones to hear that Wickens was going to be all right, and it was the most like relieving feeling I think I've ever felt in my life. Like that whole week was so long from Pocono to Gateway, and being in Gateway and finding out that he was going to be cool, that he was going to make it was just, you know what I mean? Because nobody knew still.
Well, yeah. I mean, you have like the highs and the highs and the lows and the lows. I still remember sitting in my car as the helicopter took off with Robert in it after his accident and not knowing what was going to happen.
I honestly was having flashbacks at that moment. Like that freaking, I hate that freaking helicopter. I'm telling you. Anyways, but, for other reasons.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, well, but that's just with racing in general. It's never,
they can't all be winners.
No, but,
actually only one can be.
And they're all the rest of the losers, right, Miss?
Yep.
Not first or last.
You too. In sync already. I love it. All right. Well, it's been an hour 20. Jared, I'm going to ask you, man. You've been in the media center with us, what 4 or 5 years now, right? Because we all started like at the same time, didn't we?
Yep. I started in 2015 writing for iRacing.
And we started in 2015 doing this. And yeah, exactly. Yep. So we're like the new class coming up, really. Even though we got a class behind us, because now we're getting older. Which
yeah, all the new up and coming media that I see every year. I'm like, man, these young whippersnappers. I feel like Robin Miller.
And like, I still remember the first time we were media and we walked into the media center, dude. The eyes, everybody looking at us like, who the hell are you?
Trust me, I get the same looks even after 5 years.
We don't. People know who we are by now. We made enough friends.
Yeah.
That's why we haven't really bothered with shirts.
What?
So I think that's why we really haven't bothered with shirts. It's just like, well,
I'm
everybody
too
knows who
damn
we
lazy.
are, so.
If you want a shirt, make it yourself. It's very easy. Go to teespring.com and pick a logo that says ISCP and put on your shirt. That'd be awesome. I'll take a picture with you. So there you go.
Yeah, we can put Frank's face on a bunch of T-shirts. That'll go.
Shirts aren't
well.
big enough.
Mm-hmm.
It would need to be like a California King comforter or something. Fit this head. Anyway, but so what's your what's the one moment you can't believe that you actually got to witness, through IndyCar being a part of your life as far as as a journalist, media personalities or part of the media folk,
Well, I guess it's more of a surreal moment that I had a couple years ago, standing on pit lane at Indy for qualifying when Ed Carpenter came out and put in his pole lap there on Fast Friday, and it was the first lap over 230 miles an hour of the day. And to be standing there on pit lane and look up at that scoring pylon when the speed went up and the crowd just went bananas. It was the most surreal moment I've ever had in racing, just because you could feel it when that car came by. You could tell and feel that it was faster than anything you had seen all day. And when that thing went up onto the board, it was a madhouse, and that was probably one of the best moments I've ever had.
That is the one thing I noticed, man. Indy's got some weird acoustics, and during qualifying, when you can hear it, you can just...
It's not to say you can hear it, you can feel it.
Oh, yeah, because they're going by so fast, you can feel it's almost like a concussion, or like because, it does do heck with the wind behind it, and you feel that, it was because you're so close to it. But and it's like a valley. It's all funneled, so it kind of funnels out to everything. I don't know, but the acoustics of it, I think, is great. Excuse me. I something just popped in my head, and I wish I would have held it because it was pretty cool. Oh yeah, well, I'll tell you a surreal moment. Gateway practice. Just free practice, the 30-minute free practice the night before, right? I got to watch it with Allinger Jr. We didn't talk much, but me and him just stood back watching basically Pato make the deal with Harding for the next year. But I wasn't worried about that. It was just little Al and I just watching the cars go by. He really didn't have a job to do at that time. He was just enjoying himself being there, and it was one of those surreal moments. All right,
wait. I got a surreal moment.
All right, there we go.
This is because this one, with the podcast, I don't really. I just when we do it, it's just like, we just talk IndyCar, and I like to live in my bubble where I think not a soul knows who I am when I walk into a racetrack for IndyCar. That's I live in a bubble, and that's what I think. Okay, so my surreal moment was I'm trying to think what track it was. I want to say it was Gateway, and it was Indy Lights, and we were at Andretti's pit box, and Pato was there, and he was watching something, and we were just like, we're like, hey, Pato, trying to get his attention. And I remember Michael Andretti turned around and said, hey, Pato, Missy and Frank are trying to get your attention. And I'm just like, and I just kind of looked at Frank and I was like, holy shit, Michael Andretti knows who we are. Because I've never introduced myself.
That's why I always say, you never know who's listening.
So I was kind of, in awe right there, like, holy crap, he knows who we are. So that was kind of a surreal moment for me because, like I said, I like to live in my bubble and think not a soul knows who I am when I walk onto the racetrack.
And I'm very hyper aware that you're like a diamond in the rough of the media center and why you're there, and people take notice of you and wonder why you're there. Then they find out why you're there and who you're there with, and they say, "How'd he get her?" Because I hear that enough.
How'd he get in here?
No, how did he get her? Because they find out.
Yeah, and how did he get in here?
What do you think?
In the media center.
Well, yeah, that's what they said the first couple of years, but that's fine. We got past it. Now they're all saying, with the new ones that come up, if they're like 3 weeks into it, they get accepted, which is, it's not for me to decide that, but I can just say
changing of the times.
I can just speak for the journalists that come up to us, the podcasters that have been there for 2 years. What are they doing here? How'd they get those? They don't deserve them yet. They hadn't earned them yet. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not a journalist, you journalist. So that's when I knew that we had finally been accepted into, the IndyCar media circle, of everybody. Because when the new podcasters come in, they come up to us and say, "Why are they here? They haven't done what you guys." You know what I mean? But that's fine. It doesn't matter to me. I'm happy for it. I'm happy about it. Let them get the content that they can get, so they can get more, fans to the sport. That's how I look at it. The more content, the better. We're not in competition with anybody. Perfect. Period. You journalists, on the other hand, wow, you cutthroat group of people you are.
Yeah. Some of us are a little more cutthroat than others.
Yep, and other ones are just straight up shills. So, just
yeah,
be mindful what you read.
I hope that you'll also be able to find my writings on Trackside Online this coming season.
Right on, man. The more publications, the better. And Missy, we do have a website, right?
We said it.
Okay, we said
www.theindysportscarpodcast.com.
Right on. Okay, so I don't know. It's been about an hour and a half. I think it's been long enough. We usually try to keep it to an hour, so sorry for going a little bit over, guys. But 5 years, got to kind of reminisce a little bit. And there's so many other stories too, but this show would go on forever. So, and Missy is really
and on that note, you know that I know that Frank, well, and Jared, everyone knows we're back.
Back again. Frank and Missy and Jared's back. Tell all your friends and rate, review, like, subscribe, Patreon and PayPal. You can send me cash in the mail even.